Aloha, cuz Briar626 here, and today I'm going to be giving you the 6 steps on how to build a competitive deck in Bakugan Pro TCG. So there are 6 steps that I use to build all of my decks that I get to play with, and we're going to go in detail on each and every step that I take. So if you guys do enjoy, make sure you click that like button down below, and if you're new, go to click that subscribe button to become a cousin in our family, and make sure you click that bell icon so you get notified of videos just like this one here, because we do a lot of cool things here on the channel. Now let's go on ahead and get into that step 1. Step number 1 is deck idea. Now, what do you mean by the deck idea, you may ask? Well, that's very simple. It's what is your deck trying to do? What is the purpose of your deck? Is your deck trying to burn your opponent out of all of their cards in their deck? Or are you trying to FTK your opponent first turn knockout? Or are you trying to win by damage instead of B power? Or even spam out a bunch of heroes? It is completely up to you and what you want your deck to do, but that is the deck idea. Step number 2 is the faction selection. Now this is where you get to pick the factions that we'll use in your deck. Now some examples, if you're trying to win with the damage instead of B power, you're going to want to use Pyrus because that gives you access to Midas Syndius and Mac. Now those are the cards that are going to let you win by damage. Or if you are trying to spam out heroes, you're going to want to use Chaos because those are going to give you access to Leah from Age of Orlis and Strata from BR, which is going to let you play your heroes a lot easier and a lot quicker. When picking your factions, you want to make sure you take into consideration on what Bakugan you will use, and that leads us to our next step. Step number 3 is picking your Bakugan. Now this is very important because this is where you're going to choose the Bakugan that will go on your team. Now there are some very powerful Bakugan that are out there, but it all depends on what you want your deck to do and with a Bakugan that can help accomplish that goal. Now for an example, if you want to play Ventus, there are 2 different Bakugan that you could possibly choose from. You have Ventus Finica Ultra, and then you have Dragonoid AV. Now these Bakugan have the exact same core lineup, but they work in different ways. Dragonoid has the stats of 600 B power and 2 damage, but you're going to want to play him with his Evo, which has the effect Trifecta. If your Bakugan have 3 or more BakuCores attached to them, you're going to play this Evo for free. So Dragonoid gives you access to this big, powerful Evo, but you may not be able to bring it out really quickly if you can't get those 3 BakuCores. So you may want to look at Finica Ultra instead. Now she has these stats of 800 B power and 1 damage, but the nice thing about her is that she can double core really easily. That will make her at 2050 B power and 0 damage. Now this gives you access to a bunch of other effects like Domination and Trifecta a lot quicker than you normally would be able to get to it. So picking your Bakugan is very important, but there is one thing that is just as important as picking your Bakugan, and that goes on to our next step. Now step number 4 is deck construction. Now this is where you're going to be picking the cards to go into your deck to make it work. Now there are a lot of cards out there that you could choose from. You don't have to remember them all or remember what they do, but there are resources out there that could help you do that. For an example, we have Bakugan Wiki, which is going to give you the full card list, the Bakugan and BakuCores that you can choose from and play with. You also have the Brawler Cafe, which is going to give you a full list of all the Bakugan and the product sheet so that you can find out which Bakugan that you need to get and what things go inside the products so that you can buy the right product. They also have some deck lists on there that you could choose to play around with and see and test and play for yourself. The links to both of these websites will be down in the description below. Now there is one big guide that we like to follow and is using this rule. 12 3 copies of a card and 2 copies of a card. Now this keeps everything balanced on what you can see in your hand and when you can play those cards. These numbers can change depending on the deck and depending on the player. It is all up to you. Step number 5 is picking your BakuCores. Now you want to make sure that you pick the right BakuCores that can help your Bakugan win the brawl. Either that's by highest B power or highest damage rating, or even playing the next Bakugan you have for a cheaper cost. Now, there are a lot of different BakuCores out there that you could choose from, and I'll put links in the description below that can help you find the right BakuCores. Now, let's go on to our final step. Step number 6 is test. You want to test out your deck because this is a vital thing on making a competitive deck. You just want to keep testing your deck out and making sure all the Bakugan, your cards, and your BakuCores all work together to make that deck idea work. Now, there are some great resources out there that you can go and test your deck out with. Either that's at locals with some friends, by going to a local gaming store, playing with them, or even just meeting up with your friends somewhere else and playing with them. That's a good, probably the best way to test out your deck. Another good way is by doing video brawling. Now, video brawling gives you a similar experience to playing at locals with your friends, but it's going to be at home over a webcam instead. A good place to check out is untapped.in. Now, this gives you access to playing on a website where you can pick and build up your deck and see kind of what cards you can get into your hand. And it also has a really good download feature where you can download the full deck list and then copy that, and so you can know what cards you need and what cards you don't need to build it in real life. So those are the 6 steps on making a competitive deck in Bakugan Pro TCG. Let me know if this helped you guys make some amazing decks, because I would love to see those decks in action and just hear all about what deck ideas that you have came up with. So that means we got a brawl hopefully in the future sometime. Now remember, Ohana means family. Families don't get left behind or forgotten. And I will see y'all next time. Bye!